Good afternoon, everyone. You join me in the kitchen, as you may be able to tell from the background. We're doing things with apples, so I've already made an apple crumble, which I haven't done a video for, but if you scroll back through to about March this year, you'll find a recipe for rhubarb crumble, and if you just substitute apple for rhubarb, you'll be able to make a rhubarb crumble. But what I'm doing at the moment is making Dorset apple cake. Now, every county in England seems to have its own version of apple cake. I live in Hampshire, but I'm not making our local apple cake, I'm making the Dorset equivalent. Like all good recipes, it says one large cooking apple. Now, just for scale, there's a large egg, so it's a fairly hefty apple, and I'm hoping that it's big enough and not too big. We shall see. I've already got in the food processor here self-raising flour. There's about 335 grams of self-raising flour, about 190 grams of cold butter, which is rapidly melting in the heat, and the same equivalent of brown sugar, and I'm just going to add a teaspoon of baking powder and then give this a whiz up until it's all mixed. So I will bring you back in a second. So there you go, that's all mixed up. I've also just dropped in about 3/4 of a teaspoon of mixed spice to give it a bit of flavour, and now I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients, including the apple and the eggs. So I will bring you back in a second. Now, the recipe calls for diced apple, and I have a very handy little apple dicing device here, which I think is just about big enough to be able to cope with this apple, which you'll see. All you do is basically put the thing on top and push, and it isn't big enough. Oh dear, never mind. It does normally work very well, so we will resort to the old-fashioned method. I've got some I cored earlier to make the crumble, so I'm just pile to go out on the compost bin. But this is fairly straightforward. I'm just, obviously, if the core had been big enough, it would have taken the core straight out. But this isn't too much extra effort. It's just, and then just simply peel and it says, the recipe says to reserve one of the segments, which I think is for decorating the top of the cake once it's in the pan. So I will bring you back in a minute when I have all of the apple peeled and sliced up, ready to go into the mixing bowl. So I've added the apple into the mixture, and now I'm just going to stir that in so it's well combined, and I will bring you back when that's done. So now that's mixed in, I've got 2 beaten eggs, and I'm just going to add that to the mixture, and a little bit at a time until it's nice and stiff. And again, I'll bring you back when that's done. Now, as you can see, that's a fairly doughy mixture, and that's going into a pre-greased, this is about a 25 centimetre springform pan, so it's going to go in there, and then the remaining apple will be used to decorate the top. So if you bear with me for just one moment. Ruby. So that's the finished cake. I don't know whether there's anybody from Dorset who is watching this who can tell me if that's the correct way to decorate the top of it. I know a lot of these regional recipes, it's not so much the recipe as how the cake top looks and things like that. So I don't know, that has now got to go in a fairly medium oven for so gas mark 5 for about 30 to 40 minutes until cooked. I will bring you back later once it's out of the oven. So this is literally straight out of the oven. Gave it 25 minutes and I've just taken it out, and it says to just see if it's springy, and that's not springy, so it's going to go back in for another 5 minutes and we'll see where we are. Okay, so that was 5 minutes more, and you just take my word for it, that is definitely now springy. I just need to leave it now for 10 minutes and then pop it out of the springform pan and put it on a rack to cool down. So I'll bring you back when I've done that. So we are now going to go for the taste test. Very nice. Yeah. Very nice cake. Really tasty apple. Anyway, if you have been, thank you for watching.